Hello. Today, when I finish this mount hood painting, it's going to look like this. So stick around and I'll show you how I do it. To start with, I need to put the mountain reflection in the water. And I've got a round brush here to do that. And I'm going to put a little bit of the mountain hood color in there, in the water, but opposite of what it is. And it doesn't have to be the exact same color I used, so I'm going to line up about where it would be. And in the middle there, it's going to be pretty much trees. So I'm not too concerned about that. And then I'm going to turn it upside down to get the exact line and paint it in. Might go a little higher or lower in this case. And remember, a reflection doesn't have to be exact. It can be a suggestion. In fact, it usually is a suggestion. And I'll take a look at it before I leave it there. It can grow either way. I'm going to get a fine tip brush to put in a little bit of the, I don't need it that fine, I thought just a small round. Okay, I'm going to bring this one up to meet it. Right there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to look at the actual picture and see if it's, and flip it back around. Oh yeah, no, that could go a little bit lower. I think I'm gonna make it go a little bit lower, and then I'll just blend it out. Doesn't have to have everything exactly like the mountain. Yeah. Okay, and then, like I said, we're not going to fill the whole thing in. It's not a big deal. We don't have to put it exactly like the mountain. And I can even put the little reflection of the little bump in there too. But I'm not going to leave it like this. I gotta move it with a brush. There we are. Let me move this. I've got a little fan brush here. I'm going to wet it down and go through the paint that I just put in there. I'm just going side to side. So my brush is pretty much parallel with the bottom of the painting. I'm going to start where I'm not going to pull the color through the water so much. There we go. So I can just pull right through it. And it's going to need to have some white on there too, but it's starting to dry. Today is warm outside, so it's starting to dry. It's fine, we'll get it before it dries. Yeah, I'm glad you're here with me. Welcome to DK Bowl Chat. There we go. So I'm giving the illusion of still water, a reflection in the water. And I'm going to need some of the white on there and some of the dark, or the lighter, the darker shadow is what I was going to say. Yeah, I'll need some of the darker shadow that's in here, which is a little bit of white added to that color. And I'm not going to do it with a knife so much as just with a brush, I think is going to be fine. It's going to get pulled through with the brush anyway. Let that brush down and then just pull through it. And it's just the illusion of water. It's not, you know, you want it to look like water in the painting. There we go. And I'm going to get some white and put that on the other side where it is in the painting. Probably the easiest way for me to do that would be with a knife. I know I didn't do the other side with a knife, but it's not gonna be that noticeable anyway because I pulled the brush through it. And I need to wet down the white on the knife and then load it, just a small bead, ready to go. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. And the water was dry last time when I finished painting. The water dried between those two times. So it's not a big deal. I can change it with the little fan brush. Let me get it out of the sky first. There we go. Could be little clouds there, but it's not. And I don't want to move it too much, just enough. So I'm just pulling through this. There we are. Bring it down. So I'm going to go down and then side to side. The highlights in the water. There we go. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it's looking pretty good. Pull this way. And the reflection would be sharper if it's a really still, like not very windy day. You would have almost a perfect image of it. But usually there's a little bit of movement in the water. So it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. And over here I've got more blue, but do you know what? There's going to be trees there. so it's not a big deal. I'll have to get it over the side later, because that won't benefit you, but I will paint it over the side. Yeah. It's definitely giving the illusion of water, which is what I was going for. And it also gives the illusion of the reflection. There we are. Like I said, I'll get over the side later. Right now I'm going to dip in the green and get some green paint on my brush for the trees. This will be a picturesque painting of the mountain and trees. I'm using the fan brush, and when I'm loading it, I'm pulling through the paint so the brush is still flat. This brush is a little curved, which may not be a bad thing for the stuff I'm painting, but I'm gonna put my handle away from me and tap in, and when I want it to be bigger, I can just press down. What I don't want to have happen is I don't want to have any of this air in here showing, so I may need to make them just a little bit bigger. There you go. And I'll continue working my way across. And this is just Hooker's Green. I love evergreens. They're beautiful trees. And it's nice to have them. They don't change color. I like the fall colors too, but these are so nice to have it be so green, you know, the surrounding scenery be so green. And then I will paint these the other way too. That's going to be like just the tips of them, like right here. We'll just get the tips. We want to show that mountain there too, like that. And I don't typically paint them upside down. I will need to do that. I'll need to flip it over later, but something like that. And they're not going to be perfectly spaced, or like a Christmas tree, they're not going to be perfectly trimmed and manicured, because they're out in nature. So yeah, just going to work. I'm just doing the same thing but faster. And what I'm going to do during the video is I'm going to speed this part up so that you're not, because you got the idea. Tilt your handle away from you, tap the tree in, and try to avoid any of this white part showing when you're painting. just hooker green, so I can just come back and do that. But for now, I'm going to flip it over and get the reflection in the water. My goal is to cover up the base of that mountain. And again, I'm going to speed it up so that you don't have to watch every single brush stroke. You know what I'm doing. What I need to do before this dries, and it's probably trying to dry over here, is, I'm not done, but I need to take and use a small fan brush and pull across where the water is reflecting in the trees. So you kind of see there's a base there, and there's also landline right up here where it meets the two. So I'm gonna go side to side till I get some lighter color, and I can also paint that on there. What I don't want on here is any sort of texture, because I want to be able to paint a little white line when I'm done for that, or a lighter line for the, I'm gonna turn it sideways so I can get it the right way. There we go. Because I can always touch it up and add more green if I need to. It will be difficult to remove the paint later. I notice there's a bit of texture on this tree. It's fine. Let's see if we can get that to be pretty straight. There we go. And this is going to go straight side to side. There we go. So I'll keep putting those in. Those trees. I'm picking up the clumps of paint. There we go. Yeah. I'll keep putting them in. And this part here, I just need to check and see which way it's going to be. Like, I'm going to probably put a piece of tape across there and check my line. Make sure it's pretty close to straight. If not, I can touch it up. I don't have any texture there to fix, or to try to paint over texture, which would not look right. I'm paying attention to the gaps between the trees and where I would need to put another one that's taller. And I'm going to get the other side. I'll get the side of it later. For now, I'm going to pull through that so I don't have texture built up there. And I'll turn it the other way and look at it. I'm gonna get a little clump of paint right there off of here. There we are. And same thing here. There we are. So I'm gonna touch this up a little bit with some green, but I think that might be pretty close to what I was going for. I'll be able to put a little white line or a lighter color line on the surface of the water where it meets the land. And any other green I need to touch up, I can do that later. I just don't want any texture there. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you painted along with me. I have, for the brushes, I can tell you in the, well, if I don't remember to tell you in the description, they're 20-0. These are 20-0 fans. And the round brush that I used on the mountain is a number 10 round acrylic brush. Yeah, thank you for joining me, and we'll do the clouds next time. It'll be fine. And we'll finish it up. So I'll see you in the next video. God bless you.